Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this heat, this action, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. And with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. You know, yesterday I had posted a short video, and basically I told a brief story in which correction officer, what do you call it? A correction officer in the county jail abused her authority blatantly. It was one of those situations to where two guys were arguing. They were going back and forth. She got on the intercom because she could actually see them arguing in our county jail, in the county jail that they have here. Everything is glass, so you can see through each dorm. You know what I mean? So she seen the guys arguing. She cut the intercom on. She heard them. She was telling them to sit down. They didn't sit down. They was continuing to do what they did. So she started having words with one of the individuals, and she referred to him as a little bitch. And he was like, what? She was like, you heard me. Sit your punk ass down, you little bitch. This is what she said. I'm just, you know what I mean? These aren't my words. These were her words. So the dude was like, you a bitch and your mama's a bitch. Next thing you know, she calls the whole, you know what I mean? Calls everybody. The captain, the lieutenants, the sergeants, everybody. So they all rush, you know, in the dorm. Code Signal 7. That's what they call when it's a fight. Signal 7 in the unit. Signal 7 in the unit. You know, whatever unit you in. Signal 7 CC6. Signal 7 CC6. So they all come running in there, looking all silly. Half of them can't even run. So they come in. She's explaining. Of course, they're going to listen to her first. She's explaining what happened. She's totally lying. Totally lying. So the inmates, they're like, nah, this is what happened. And then, you know, she referred to me as a bitch. So I said it back to her. It wasn't the captain. I believe it was the lieutenant. He was like, I don't think you understand, son. No matter what my officer tells me, that's what we riding with. I don't care if she spits in your face. You are not to say anything back to this officer. Get him out of here. Took him to the hole for like 30 days. So I spoke on that. And there was a lot of people that commented. You know, you had a lot of people that were saying, oh, well, what do you expect to happen in jail? You think you're supposed to go to jail and have a good time? It's supposed to be, you know, a theme park, amusement park in jail? Listen. My thing is this. It's easy for a correction officer to become a correction officer. I don't know who grows up saying, you know what, I want to be a corrections officer. Now, it could be one of those things to where it grows in your family. You know, it runs in your family, rather. You know, your grandfather was a correction officer. Your father was a correction officer. Your mother was a correction officer. She met her husband, which is your dad. He was a correction officer. So they met each other in a jail, and they ended up getting married. You know what I mean? So you could come from a family in which everybody's correction officers. But I don't know anybody that's, you know what? I want to grow up and be a corrections officer. Now, don't take it the wrong way, because I'm not knocking anybody. I know some correction officers cool. Real cool. I'm cool with a couple correction officers. I don't agree with their job. But, hey, I don't have anything to do with them. I don't pay their bills. You know, but I don't have a problem with them, because you run into some cool correction officers, man. Some cool ones just there to do their job, get their paycheck. They're not trying to make your time harder. They're not trying to, you know, just give me my money and I'm going home. Nothing wrong with that. I have absolute zero problems with that. The ones that I have a problem with are the overzealous ones that think that they're so tough, and maybe they are tough. Once again, I seen a correction officer in our county jail, man, and he was a pro MMA fighter. And he was that guy. And anytime they had issues with an inmate and they couldn't get him to cuff up or you know, cooperate, they gonna send dude in. Had cauliflower ears, man. He was a head buster, man. So I'm not saying correction officers are not tough or not. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of them abuse their authority. And people want to sit up here and say, well, you can do that to people simply because they're criminals. If you're not going to talk to a person on the streets a particular way, why would you wait until you feel like you're in position of power to talk to that same person that you wouldn't say 2 words to on the street disrespectfully? But because you got your little blue uniform on and you got your little, you know, they got their little walkie-talkie things on their shoulder with a red button. It's called a panic button. So anytime something happens and they talking all that stuff, so an inmate's like, okay, let me see what you're about, big boy. Let me see what you're really about. Oh, they're going to hurry up and hit that panic button. And then they all going to come running in there to save them. But you was just tough. You was just tough 2 minutes ago. Why you hitting your panic button? See, you have a whole lot of correction officers that, in my humble opinion, they ain't get no girls in high school. They ain't get no dates in high school. Nobody liked them in high school. Didn't have no friends in high school. You see what I'm saying? Never been popular. Nobody ever talked to them. Once again, I'm not speaking on all correction officers. Like I said, I know some that are cool as a fan. You see what I'm saying? But I'm talking about, but the ones I know, they not really jerks like that. Yeah, they about their business. They about their job. They not trying to break no rules for you, and they're about the books, but they treat you like a human being. They're not jerks. I'm talking about the ones that like, I don't want to say his name so bad, but I bet not say it. I've already told the story, but I'll speed it up and tell you real briefly, just in case you all didn't see that video. It was in the county jail. Dude goes to court. When he goes to court, they grant him a bond. It's a low bond, but he has to call somebody. Actually, they grant him like, it's called third party, to where you pay $4 to get out, and somebody has to come and sign you out, though. You can't sign yourself out. He comes back from court. This one particular officer, he loved to keep you locked down in a cell. So he's telling the officer, like, officer, could I come out and use the phone so I can call, you know, my people? The officer's like, yeah, I'll let you out in a while. Hour goes past, 2 hours, 3 hours. Officer still ain't let him out of his cell. So every time he hits the intercom, officer, I need to, you know, use the phone. I'm doing my, you know, my paperwork right now, maybe an hour. So then next time you look up, it's time for shift change. When the next shift comes in, they have to do their paperwork and get everything arranged for the evening. So they're not going to allow you to come out and use the phone. So this dude, man, you know, the inmate gets to arguing with him or whatever. They're going back and forth. So he tells him, I'm going to get you. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get you. And this officer, he's so big and bad. You know, like a lot of them think that they are. Soft as cotton. Just got that blue uniform on. That's, you know, soft as cotton. So the dude ends up getting out. He ends up coming back because the feds pick his case up. So he's only out maybe 2 weeks. And then they tell him, hey, the feds is picking your case up. So he turns himself back in. Now he's going to go do some federal time. He don't know how long he's going to be gone. Lo and behold, he sees this same officer, because it's called the assessment center. You're going to the assessment center for probably the first 3-4 days that you're in the county jail. They leave you in there until they can figure out, you know, where you're going to be classified to, and which dorm or which cell that you know, will be housed in permanently. So you're in the assessment center. The assessment center sucks. I'm going to tell you that. It's the worst part of jail. All parts of jail suck, but the assessment center is terrible. But at any rate, he catches that officer one day. I guess the officer had forgotten all about it. He's sitting in his little tower. They got like a tower in the middle of the dorm. Man, that dude took one of them lunch trays. Them dinner trays in jail be thick, about like that. The officer was sitting in his chair. He comes up from behind. Bam! Smacked that boy in the back of his head. Hit him about 3 or 4 times. Split him wide open. Talked crazy to him. Spit on him. You know, was kicking him. Of course, you know, they seen it on the cameras, and they came in and rushed him and beat him, and I don't advocate violence. I'm simply telling you what happened. This is what happened. I don't approve of putting your hands on anybody, especially a correction officer, because I'm sure that he received an outside charge for that. But the point that I'm making is, treat people with respect. I don't care if you're in prison or not. I don't care. Man, you would get your noodle pushed all the way backwards, correction officer or not. Especially when you go to prison, but it don't necessarily have to be in prison. It can happen in the county jail. I done seen it. That's not the only time. See, when I tell these stories, sometimes people jump in the comments, oh, that's the best you can do. I've told many stories. It's just one story. You know what I mean? So, you know, I've seen many things, but just treat people with respect. You don't have to treat them special. You don't have to, because I'm going to tell you what happens. You go in there with that tough guy attitude, and you go to one of them maximum securities or mediums, and you think that you so tough, it won't even be the dude that got a life sentence that's going to do something to you. It'll be the guy that's in there that got 6, 7 years, 8 years. You just caught him on the wrong day. Can't reach his girl when he called home. Or somebody passed away in the family. Or he just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And you come in here, you know, fooling with people solely because you feel like you can. You ain't no better than nobody else. You don't got to have no degree to be no correction officer. You have a GED, you can have all the misdemeanors in the world as long as you don't have no felony. Ain't nothing special about being no correction officer. Nothing. Now, when you go to prison, and I've seen this on television, but this is true, especially them high-level maximum security prisons. Now you start to run into real-life drug lords, real-life, you know, bosses on the streets, real-life cartel dude. So you're gonna address them in a certain type way, because if you don't, you're probably gonna cease to exist. Them dudes will find out who your whole family is and come to work. Hey, you're going to bring this into me. And if you don't, this is what's going to happen. I know who your mother is. I know who your kids are. I know who your wife is. This is where they stay. This is where your kids go to school. This is. So you're going to bring this in and you're going to work with me. I ain't making this up. Have I ever been to a place like that? No. Not personally. I haven't. But I know that it happens. Certain places it does happen. So if you're a CEO and you happen to be watching this video, nothing personal against you. You know what I mean? Only the ones that are jerks. Only the ones that really real life hate inmates. Because you got some CEOs that just, they go beyond, above and beyond doing their job. They hate inmates. They hate to see you on visit. They hate to see your family pull up in that big boy, you know, whatever they may be driving. Denali or something like that. They hate to see that. They hate to see your girl come in there looking good and your mom smiling and your kids running around or your grandkids playing, jumping around, because their life is so miserable. And it's like, how can they support a person, this scum of the earth that's in prison, and he has a beautiful family like that? How can they support him when I'm out here just barely making it, living in a 1-bedroom apartment? There ain't nothing wrong with that. Do what you got to do. But I'm just simply saying, misery loves company. So now you want to be miserable to this inmate, knowing that the average inmate ain't going to do anything to you because he's trying to get home. If I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not breaking any rules in jail, man, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. I'm not doing anything. But see, a lot of these overzealous guys, they know that no matter what they do, they're covered. As long as they're not helping the inmate. Now they find out you helping it, oh man, now they ready to prosecute you and fire you and do everything else. But as long as you're being cruel to the inmates and you're being, you know, a jerk, you're gonna move up quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Then once you become a, you know, a lieutenant or something like that, now you want to chill out. Now you're cool and laid back. I've seen some officers do some crappy things, man. Plant stuff on people. Lock people up for no reason, throw them in the hole, you know, take the visitation privileges from them. I done seen some. So you'll say, oh, well, stay out of prison. Well, that's obvious, goofballs. But at the same time, even if you do go to prison, man, that don't give you a right to mistreat people and be cruel. We all people. Now, you're not going in there, you know, prison's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a party. I get it. But if you ain't gonna say it to me on the streets, don't say it to me in here. Because guess what? Guess what? I done seen plenty of COs since I've been out. You run into them everywhere. Walmart. Heck, sometimes you knock on their door. Maybe delivering food. So don't think that you'll never be seen again. Because the right person, they're not trying to hear that. Oh, I was just doing my job. No. You're doing way more than you was doing the most. You wasn't just doing your job. You was doing the most. So it's just a little insight, you know. And like I said, the individual that I spoke on in the beginning of the story, he did 30 days in the hole, I believe. Caught her right up. Nothing happened to the woman. She's still down there, from what I know, at the detention center. She's still being nasty to people. She's still, you know, talking crazy to people. She ain't got an issue yet. She ain't ran into the right one yet. Reap what you sow, though. You continue to treat people like that, it's gonna come back on you. You just think that it won't. You feel like you high and mighty. That blue uniform makes you feel high and mighty. Lo and behold, a lot of people don't give a darn about that blue uniform, man. Real Kens TV, man. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully I answered some questions for you. Feel free to comment, as I'm sure you will. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel, so anytime I bring you this heat and this action, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. I guess the major message out of all of this, with that being said, just stay out of jail. You don't have to worry about dealing with nasty COs and inmates and fights and seeing people get their noodle pushed all the way backwards, aka wig split. You know, you don't have to worry about seeing all of those things. Stay out, be with your family, man. That's what my channel is all about, to deter young people from going to jail. Listen to my videos, and hopefully, you know what I mean, you'll learn something. Stay out here with your family, with your kids. That's the message. That's the message that I'm always sending. Not to be a tough guy. Sending a message to these kids. I care about them. Stay out of prison, man. Real Kens TV. We out.